Welcome to Practical Strategies for Reducing Screen Time in Children. Hey there, I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey to help your kids develop healthier screen habits. We all know screens are everywhere, and while they can be super helpful, too much screen time can be a challenge. This course is all about making realistic, positive changes that fit your family's lifestyle. We'll go over why reducing screen time is so important, how to create fun, engaging alternatives, and most importantly, how to make these changes stick without all the stress and power struggles. By the end of this course, you'll have a clear plan and the confidence to guide your kids towards a more balanced screen free life. Let's dive in and make this process simple, practical, and effective. Let's talk about how much screen time is too much. With screens being such a big part of our lives, it's easy for kids to spend hours on them. But the real question is, how much is too much? While some screen time can be educational and entertaining, excessive use can interfere with essential activities like sleep, play, learning, and social interactions. Understanding what's appropriate based on age and balancing screen use with other healthy activities is key to promoting your child's well being. Screens are all around us: TVs, tablets, phones, computers, you name it. And kids are spending more time on them than ever before. It's easy for screens to become a huge part of daily life, whether it's watching videos, playing games, or even learning. But the thing is, too much screen time can have real effects on kids' health and development. It can impact how their brains develop, affect their attention span, disrupt their sleep, and even influence their behavior. And when you look at the numbers, it's pretty eye-opening. Studies show that children between 8 to 12 years old spend about 4 to 6 hours a day on screens, while teenagers can spend anywhere from 7 to 9 hours daily. That's a lot of screen time. The concern here isn't about eliminating screens altogether, but finding a healthy balance. Knowing why screen time matters is the first step in making positive changes for your child's overall well being. Let's talk about recommended screen time limits based on age, according to experts like the World Health Organization and the American Academy of Pediatrics. For babies under 18 months, it's best to avoid screens entirely, except for video calls with family. From 18 to 24 months, if you're introducing screens, it should be limited to high quality content and only when you're watching and interacting with your child. For kids aged 2 to 5 years, the recommendation is a maximum of 1 hour per day, focusing on educational content and making sure an adult is there to guide them. Once kids are between 6 and 12 years old, around 1 to 2 hours a day is fine, but it's important to balance it with physical activities, play, and creative time. For teenagers aged 13 to 18 years, 2 to 3 hours daily is generally okay, but the focus should be on quality rather than just mindless scrolling. The idea here is to create a healthy balance that supports learning, social interaction, and overall well being. It's important to recognize the signs that your child might be spending too much time on screens. One of the biggest red flags is increased irritability or having tantrums when you take the screen away. It's like they can't handle being without it, which can be pretty concerning. Another sign to watch for is if your child is having trouble paying attention or completing tasks, especially things that don't involve screens. Sleep issues are also common. If they're staying up late using screens or struggling to fall asleep because of screen time right before bed, that's a sign something needs to change. You might also notice that your child is choosing screens over playing outside or interacting with friends, which can impact their social development. And then there are the physical signs. If they're complaining of eye strain, headaches, or even having posture problems from too much screen use. Noticing these signs early can really help you make positive changes before it becomes a bigger issue. Assessing your child's screen time starts with asking yourself some simple but important questions. First, think about how many hours a day your child is actually spending on screens. Is it just an hour or two, or is it way more than that? Then consider what kind of content they're engaging with. Is it educational content that helps them learn, or mostly entertainment like games and videos? Another big question is whether screen time is taking the place of other important activities like playing outside, interacting with friends, or even getting enough sleep. Also, pay attention to whether your child is using screens out of habit or for specific purposes, like doing schoolwork or learning a new skill. Understanding these patterns is really the first step in managing screen time effectively. Once you know what's happening, it becomes much easier to figure out what changes, if any, you need to make. Balancing screen time with other activities is all about making sure your child's day includes a healthy mix of different experiences. It's not that screen time is bad, it's just that it needs to be balanced. Ideally, screen time should be limited to around 1 to 2 hours a day, depending on their age. But just as important is making sure they're getting plenty of physical activity, at least an hour of moving around, whether that's playing outside, riding a bike, or even dancing around the house. Creative play is also essential, like drawing, building with blocks, making music, or just using their imagination. And then, of course, there's sleep. Kids need around 8 to 12 hours of good sleep, depending on their age, to help their bodies and brains recharge. Don't forget about family time and social interactions, whether it's having dinner together, playing board games, or chatting about their day. It's all about creating a balanced routine that supports their overall growth and well being.